Hi everyone, Wolf Branch Homestead here today, and we do not have our tiny microphone because I have somehow misplaced our receiver for it. I had everything sitting together and I guess it must have fallen off or ended up somewhere else, so we don't have our microphone today, so it'll be a lot more open sound. You'll hear the fountain a lot more. Maybe you'll hear a little bit more of the hummingbirds today. You're also going to be hearing some thunder. I don't know how long we're going to be able to stream for because we've got some real big thunderheads back behind us over here, and there's some thunder in the distance. Hey, it's good to see you. You all please go check out Ontario Ruby Reds. They have a great channel, and our neighbors to the north there, they get the same species of hummingbird we do. They get the ruby-throated hummingbird, and they share lots of beautiful videos of their hummingbirds and other wildlife. It's a very wonderful channel. Please check them out. We have lots of very friendly, wonderful other channels that everybody kind of shares back and forth, and it's good to see how our hummingbirds are doing when they go up north of us. Hopefully you still got a few hummingbirds up your way. I'm not sure when they migrate out, but I think you actually, was it last year or the year before? I think you actually saw your last ruby-throated hummingbird well after we had. But again, we'll try to get a little stream in. The thunder is just rolling back here, and we'll step back and see if King comes over. He's been just guarding this feeder, but out at the other end we put a second feeder out because the adult male that's out there, he's not as much of a guardian over the feeders. He kind of sits back and lets everybody visit it. And so those feeders, we added a second one because there's a bunch of juveniles flying around there. A few juvenile males and females, and they're kind of back and forth with each other figuring things out, but they're not too mean to each other or anything. So we've got two feeders out further, and then we have this one here. When we get a little bit busier, we'll probably add a fourth feeder. I don't anticipate that until probably around September when they start really heavily migrating back through. But we do have a few birds visiting this feeder. So we're going to step inside and just kind of listen in, watch for the birds to show up. If the puppy dog does start to bark a little bit, he's getting antsy. He's ready for walking later on. If he does start to bark a little bit, I'll come out here and either give him his little chew bone or one of his little puppy ice creams. But nice cooler day. Not quite into that fall temperatures yet, but not as hot as it has been for summertime. So it's a nice relaxing day, and a little bit of cloud cover here. But that's enough rambling. Hopefully you all have had a great weekend so far, and we hope you enjoy watching the hummingbirds. I'm gonna pull up a chair, you all. Actually found some really nice chairs at a yard sale over the weekend. There's some really nice outdoor chairs that have little canopies over them, and got them for $2.50 a piece. And I'm gonna grab one of those real quick so I can sit here and show you these feeders. Okay. This should also, if I can sit close enough here, I guess. This should also help, so if the hummingbirds come over, they feel comfortable because I'm not just swaying around the feeder. I can sit still. So, Ginger, maybe you can help me out with this, but this particular feeder, I know this is the smaller of the two, but these are called the Hum Blossom, correct? I know they make the Hum Zinger. I think they still make those, but I think this style is called the Hum Blossom. And we have the miniature one where it will hold, you can, since you do the ratio of 1 part sugar to 4 parts water, you can put a tablespoon of sugar to 4 tablespoons of water, and that fills this up. Yeah, so these are the Hum Blossoms. I think they still make the Hum Zinger, but these are the two that we found at a Salvation Army store over the weekend. Now, up on the top right is their price they had at the store, where we actually got them from. If you see, like, the 5, the smaller one was 5, and the big one was 7, but you can see those original price stickers on there. So we'll start with this one. They both still have the boxes, which is pretty crazy to think about. And I didn't realize this company had even been around for this long. So this one, the smaller one, is an 8 ounce. And you can see, I'm trying to get it where we can see it okay. But here's some little facts on the back, actually. Hummingbirds feed 5 to 8 times each hour and consume half their weight in sugar daily. There are 16 species of hummingbirds found in the U.S. and southern Canada at various times of the year. Hummingbirds locate their food visually and will investigate colorful blooms for nectar. Somebody's in the tree above me at the moment. The bright red color of our Humzinger mini feeder is designed to attract hummingbirds quickly and easily. Hummingbirds are also attracted to a variety of flowers and plants, including begonias, fuchsias, bleeding hearts, honeysuckle, hibiscus, geranium, and yucca. So it's actually interesting to note, some of this might be a little bit different since this is an older feeder, but it's interesting to note how they talk about the bright red color of the feeder. Because one thing I like about this company, that apparently they actually even mentioned back in 2007 with these feeders, but one thing, when you buy these and it comes in the little box, pardon me, they have a little paper insert with the feeders for these that tells you how to make your own nectar and tells you not to use red dyes, which is a really respectable thing because a lot of companies will try to sell you a nectar mix. And there's just so much unnecessary nonsense in there. There's so many preservatives to make it shelf stable when it's just so easy and better for them to just make it yourself with sugar and water. So I think that's one good thing I really like about this company, is that they tell you to just make it yourself without red dye. So here's the older feeder. Let's see if I can get, I might have to zoom out a little bit here. Here's the older one of the mini Humzinger. I checked them out before I actually purchased them to make sure they weren't cracked. They are discolored where somebody did use them, but it doesn't look like they used them too much. They have a built-in ant moat, but we use the little ant guard, so we don't need to put anything in there in the ant moat because I don't want things like honeybees to get stuck in there when they're looking for water. It comes apart fairly easily. Again, a little discoloration, but we're going to soak these in a bleach water solution. You can find a video on how to clean them properly from Hummingbird Spot, and we use that method. But we're going to soak these and we'll give them a little try before we put them up, because I don't want, as old as they are, to find them with their original box. I have some other older hummingbird feeders, so I want to do like a little shelf of some of the different types over the years. But we'll let them try it out one time and show you all. But it has 3 simple parts here, and yes, it's very similar to how these ones today are. Literally just 3 parts: the top, the part that the nectar's in, and the hook. I wonder if he's, I can't tell what he's barking at. He might be barking at the rabbit, but it is almost his walk time, so apologies. But this one actually has its original paper in there, so we'll show you that. Again, apologies, he's gonna bark. It actually has the original registration card in there. It has where you could sign up to a bird magazine. Now see, if I stop talking, then he stops for a minute. We've got the feeder and those little cards. Then here's the paper that came with these. Again, these are from 2007. You've actually got the little date right there, I guess when they were made. So July of 2007. And the paper in here that is included with actually both of these feeders, because it says Hummingbird Mini and Excel, it actually shows you how they come apart, the diagram of each feeder. A little bit about the company. But this right here, now they don't mention the red dyes in here on this one, but they do actually tell you how to make it yourself. Now mind you, again, this is 2007. This is quite a few years ago, and they actually tell you in here, let's see, I read it on here, but I can't remember where. It tells you how much each one holds. The nectar solution consists of 1 part sugar mixed to 4 parts water. Boil and stir until thoroughly dissolved. What they don't say is if you do this and you boil your water, make sure it is thoroughly cooled before you put it in your feeder. Don't put out hot or boiling, you know, super scalding nectar. Make sure it's cooled down. Any nectar remaining after you filled the feeder should be stored in the refrigerator. For your convenience, the recipe for the nectar mixture is on the underside of the red cover. I did not... Wait, hold on. The red cover of the lid? Oh my gosh, it actually is. And it tells you, okay, this is actually a surprise. I didn't read this all the way. I am actually really shocked. This is really cool to me. These are definitely going to be like cool shelf pieces for me. Look at this. The underside of the lid actually tells you how to make the nectar mix. I'm so excited. I'm sorry. Like, I'm nerding out a little bit because I think this is so cool that it tells you on the lid how to make it. Okay, like, my opinion of them has just boosted because this is so cool. I don't know if any of the modern ones are like this. Somebody that has them, please let me know if any of the newer Humzingers have this, because I know with these, they do not. But this Humzinger, 1 part white sugar, 4 parts water. Do not use any dye or coloring. 8-ounce capacity. Do not overfill. Clean thoroughly. Look at that. That's like just to the T, exactly what we want people to know. Just sugar and water, no dye, no coloring. Don't overfill it, and cleaning it thoroughly. That right there, that's amazing. Like I said, I'm not sure if any of their newer Humzingers have this on there. Please let us know if you have some. But I think that this literally being on the underside of the lid, and especially for this, again, to be from 2007, that even back then they were saying this, I think this is just amazing. This is really, again, this is a surprise. I didn't fully read that when I got the feeder. But the fact that's on the lid, just right there for you, is actually really cool. So that's the mini one we got. And then we'll set this down here, or maybe you can see it a little bit. I'm not sure if we can. Yeah, we can't see it too well. Okay, so here's the big one. Now, we usually use smaller feeders because we have them scattered out and we aren't terribly busy over the past couple years. But this is a good large-sized one, a 16-ounce capacity. This is double the size of the other one. And it's like the same thing, just a little bit bigger. He is just... And even then, look how much they spent originally in 2007 on this big feeder. They spent $22.95. This is just a larger version of the other one. Again, the smaller one at the thrift store we bought for $5, and then this one we bought for $7. We'll open this one up. The back has the same exact thing on it. It says solid brass hanging rod, polycarbonate cover with perch ring, polycarbonate bowl with built-in ant moat. Again, they're going to need some cleaning. I looked them over. I don't think that they have any cracks in them, but we'll see. So here's the bigger one. Again, 3 parts. Let me get the lid off of here. I'm trying to be really careful because I don't know how long they were out in the sun or used for. I don't know how brittle they might be. So I'm trying to get the lid off there. And it's actually got a little measurement on the side to show you how full the feeder is. A little built-in moat. And just 3 parts on that one too, where it's got the hook, the lid, and the base. Now this one has the same thing. It had I don't see the registration card in this one, but it has the little thing from the birding magazine in it. It has the same paper in here. This one has a little bit of like water or coloration damage, I think, on it. But it says the same thing on here since the paper is used for both of them. It says that it has the nectar information. I know, King, I see you up there. He perched up in the oak tree looking at me like, why are you sitting there? The bottom of the feeder shows you who it's made by. And then on the underside of the lid, there it is. Correct nectar measure or mixture. I can't read today. 1 part white sugar, 4 parts water. Do not use any dye or coloring. 16-ounce capacity. Do not overfill. Look at that. Again, right on the bottom of the lid, it tells you to make it yourself with no red dyes. And then here's the really cool part about this. I'm trying to make sure we don't have anybody's... it doesn't look like it has a card or anything number on it, so I think we're safe to kind of show this. I don't know if the store even... I cannot talk today. I do not know if the store even exists anymore, but it says that this was purchased from Wild Bird Center in Birmingham, Alabama. It shows you that it was purchased August 9th, 2007. It shows you they bought some other stuff too. They bought a yellow jacket trap, but it shows you this big Humzinger here. They spent $22.95 on it. They had some frequent buyer points. They must have had a program for them. But the fact that it has the receipt from when it was purchased, and the cool part about that is it was bought 8/9/2007, and it looks like this one was manufactured May of 2007. And it was really cool because we are in August right now, and it was almost to the day of when they bought it that I bought it, which is pretty neat. And I wonder, stuff like that makes you think. You wonder who bought it, how many hummingbirds maybe it fed, where it's set at. You know, if they had it on their porch, they had it out in the yard. You wonder if it was the ruby-throated, or maybe they had some other visitors that came to the feeder. And what surprises me most is that they still have the box for it. You know, the inner collector in me with picking stuff up, not only for keeping, but, you know, eBay and stuff like that. The inner collector in me knows that finding something older with its original box is usually not as easy as you think sometimes, especially something like this, because we get a product, we take it out of the box, we get what we need to know, and throw the box away. That's why you see stuff like video games where people have the original box and the value is increased, where, you know, you have that original thing for it. I can remember being a kid and getting my Game Boy Advance SP and getting Pokemon Sapphire. And, you know, you get something like that, especially as a kid, and you threw the box away. There wasn't really that mentality to keep it. You really didn't think about it then. And especially something like this, just a simple hummingbird feeder. I don't know why they kept the box, but I'm glad they did, because this gives us some background on when they purchased it, when it was made. You know, there's a receipt in there, which is crazy to me, all the original papers. And I bet they never thought when they bought that all those years ago that somebody would be sitting here today, having bought it from a thrift store, and being amazed that this company is still around, being amazed that they're telling people to make their own nectar even then. So these are just going to be really, really cool shelf pieces. But like I said, we are going to take these and I'm going to deep clean them and fill them up, and we'll, you know, I think what we'll do is we'll do some special streams. We might take these and do some streams with them. He said, yeah, it's getting that time. I know, but you usually go about 7:30. It's 6:51. You got a little bit longer. But take these, give them a good deep clean. All the other feeders just got deep cleaned today, and then a couple days ago, the other round of them got deep cleaned. So we'll get them cleaned up. You know, they're still going to be discolored because they're older. But we'll give them a try. Maybe do some streams with them. And I'd like to do, since this was kind of a cool, not really like an unboxing of it, because I did look at them before I bought them, but, you know, a cool discovery video, a cool sharing video. I think I might do a longer up-close video with these and do some video of the hummingbirds visiting them. But it's going to go on the shelf after that, because, again, I've got one other older hummingbird feeder that, well, it's actually like for people when they used plastic bottles to make a feeder out of. It's just the attachment for the bottom. But since that would be kind of hard to clean, and since we already have our feeders, that's just a little shelf piece. And then what we'll do with these is maybe do like a little up-close video with them and show the hummingbirds using them, and then clean them again and put them back up, since we have plenty of feeders, and just admire these awesome feeders and admire the fact that even back then this company was, you know, again, just like they do today, they're telling you to make it yourself and not use dyes. So that's one really good thing. Definitely, Ginger, if you would share their feeder link again for us, so people can see that. You know, if you're looking for a new hummingbird feeder, a replacement, you want to try a different type, this would be a really good company. You know, we're not sponsored in any way. We don't have any kind of compensation from them. I just have a lot of respect for the fact that this company is not trying to sell you a nectar mix or a bottled nectar. We've talked about it before, but there are so many of them that just have so many preservatives. And there's one that even says, the nectar says, oh, it doesn't have red dye, but then you look at it and it has sodium bicarbonate, baking soda in it, and you can't begin to understand or imagine how all those different chemicals impact such a tiny bird that's constantly feeding, and how that adds up. Just like with red dye, you know, come on. King, that was rude. She was just trying to come to the feeder, and you know you're not going to come down here while I'm sitting here. Why you got to chase them off? They're like, get out of our way, lady. But, you know, with red dye, there haven't been actual studies on it because that would be a really cruel thing to do, would be to put them through that for the sake of studying it and finding out that it was bad. But there have been Hummingbird spots, got information about it. Sherry L. Williamson, I think, has some information on her website, the same lady that does the book that Ginger shares for us. But there's information about people that were using the red dyes in their hummingbird nectar and the possibility of how it could be doing them harm. I think it has to do with, correct me if I'm wrong, Ginger, I think it had something to do with their liver processing that. But, you know, there's just this possibility for that dye to do harm, and they're not getting anything like that when they're going and visiting flowers. They're not getting dyes out of flowers. They're basically, you know, we're just kind of mimicking that for them and making just the sugar and water. And that's one thing you'll notice. Yeah, there's so many problems with it, and I'm glad that where more and more people know not to use it, and I hope more people will also avoid these store-bought mixes. I'm really glad that this past year we have some, you know, without saying the name of the company, but we have some dollar stores around us, and they sell nectar mixes. So I put our little cards out there trying to encourage people to make their own, to not buy that it could do harm, or that ornithologists and all these different organizations recommend not using that, just making it yourself. And we noticed this year that it seemed like a lot less people were buying those store-bought mixes, and I hope that trend continues. If the companies would just, like I said, if they would do like this, if they would just, you know, straight up say, hey, make it yourself, no dyes, I have respect for that. And that's why, you know, if I ever order feeders in the future, I think that's going to be what I do is buy more of these feeders, because I have respect for the company making these feeders. Not only are they durable, but also trying to put out information to be helpful to the hummingbirds, that they're promoting a better way of feeding your hummingbirds, not just trying to sell you a nectar mix. But I think that's about it. I've kind of rambled. Yeah, you know, I'm glad that they put that in there, that they have that consideration for the hummingbirds. I don't know too much about the company. We'll have to kind of look them up before we do a video about these older ones and see how long they've been around for. Come on. I don't know that King might try to chase you, but I'm trying to stay really still, because I can hear the difference in the flight sound, and it sounds like that juvenile male. He's behind me in this other tree. But we've rambled long enough. I, you know, showed you all the cool little feeders we got, and I just wanted to show you all that because it's really cool to find these. Come on, come on. Hey, King, be nice. Come on. All that tussling, King. I'm trying to stay still because they're coming back over here. We'll sit back in the chair for a minute and talk. Maybe somebody will come over. But it's just real nice to find these feeders and share them. We'll look a little more up close at them later on and do a better video. But I just had to share that because I was just so excited to find them yesterday. And I hear them buzzing around here. Come on. King, you know you're not going to come down here and be mean right at the feeder. thinking about it. He got right above me in the oak tree. That is the sassiest bird, I swear. He doesn't like to come down here when I'm sitting here, but he doesn't want anybody else to come over here either. And like we said in the past, you can't blame them for that, trying to protect their food source. That would be like us trying to survive out in the wild ourselves, and all of a sudden we come across a little garden out in the middle of nowhere, and the garden has constant food, and you see somebody else come out of the woods trying to get that food. You would be protecting it too, so that you could take care of yourself. Kind of the same thing I like to compare with them. So I can't blame him for guarding his feeder. And if it's the same bird that we've seen over the, yes, if it's the same bird we've seen over the past few years, which I think it is based on his markings, he's maintained that same kind of attitude every year he shows up here. But we'll step back, letting them get to the feeder, go get these chores done. Oh. Puppy dog will be going on his walk soon. And just thank you everybody for joining us, watching the hummingbirds, checking out the feeders that we got. That's what he does. If you start talking, he likes to talk over you. I swear, that's what he does. I think he does it on purpose. But anyways, thanks for watching with us, everybody. Thanks for tuning into the hummingbirds. We had some more activity. We didn't have any rain today. Hopefully it's going to some much needed other areas. I'm glad that you were here, Ginger. I'm glad to have your help, and to be able to share these feeders while you were here too. I'm glad for that. Ginger is our awesome moderator and taught me a lot about hummingbirds. I just want to say that. I try to say that as often as I can, but we really appreciate you. I appreciate not only what you do here, but across other streams too, and just your effort to help educate others. I was already making my own nectar, but when I first saw you on, other hummingbird and other streams, you taught me a lot more about, more facts about the birds, how to clean up their feeders better, changing their nectar out. I just learned a lot, and I still continue to learn a lot from you, so I really appreciate that. And not only for me, but for other people, helping to educate other people. And, even not just here, but other channels, you get a lot of compliments and a lot of positive remarks about what you do. I just want you to know that a lot of people across different channels really take note of how much you do and how kind you are. And I hope that you hope you know how appreciated you are, not just here, but across different places. So thank you. Yeah, you really do. You try very hard, and you are very successful with helping people. I mean, there's so many people I've heard say, that they've learned a lot from you. And I just want you to know that, hopefully this should pull up the live chat where everybody can see Ginger chatting with us here while we're talking. But, I think it's important to tell people how important they are and how what they do matters. We have a lot in the world. There's just too much negativity, and I think sometimes it really just helps people's hearts to know they're appreciated and to know that people are thankful for them. And like I said, just from us, and just hopefully also hearing that other people think very highly of you and appreciate what you do, I hope that really helps. And like I said, even just here, just people learning more about the birds and the hummingbirds, taking care of them, cleaning their feeders, learning cool facts about them, all the helpful links, the timestamps. It's, with the channel and doing chat and stuff, being one person, I'll try to keep up on top of stuff as I can and reply to people, but it always helps to have an extra hand. So thank you for that. Trying to think of any other news before we get closed out. The only other thing I can think of, like I tried to mention earlier in the stream, is our robin friend, Robbie Rotten, is still hanging around. And it looks like we have a Rob Jr. because I've been seeing a young robin out in the yard today, hanging around where Robbie is. So I think Rob has a baby. So we've got a little robin out running in the yard now. So we have Robbie Rotten. I don't know if it's male or female. But Robbie has a Rob Jr. The hummingbirds have been pretty active. Animals are doing well. It's been cooler today, not so hot, not too terribly humid. We've had some rain, but it's slacked off pretty well for the past 2 days, finally giving us a chance to stream. We should be able to still watch hummingbirds till probably mid-October. It's going to slow down in October when they start to migrate through. End of August, September is going to be pretty busy. We'll try to get videos and streams in as we can, but you know, once they migrate out, because they don't stay with us year-round like some species out to the west, our ruby-throated do not stay with us all year, so they're going to leave probably about mid-October. They'll come back sometime around mid-March. And then in between that time, we'll go back to doing lots of other wild bird streams because we have bird species that stay with us all year. So we'll have our cardinals, we'll have our wren, titmouse, chickadee, obviously squirrels and chipmunks. So we'll have our wild bird feeder going in the fall and the winter time after the hummingbirds leave, and we'll do more goat walk videos. But that's all I can think of for today. He's fussy. Hummingbirds want to come down to their feeder, and I need to get some more nectar made. But again, hopefully you all enjoyed seeing the birds, listening to a little bit of ramble, checking out our older feeders that we got. And again, thank you so much, Ginger, for helping us out, not only here, but across other different channels, and being so kind to everybody and helping us learn a lot about not only the hummingbirds, but other wildlife as well. And as always, you know, hopefully we'll get some more live streams if the weather permits. We'll have to see what the weather looks like, but we'll try to stream if the weather permits, you know, upcoming. If not, we'll still keep doing some shorts and other videos. But until that time, until the next video or live stream, I cannot talk. Until the next video or live stream, take care, everybody.